You might not know this, but the world is teeming with life. What goes on in the body? There's something special about
growing, and
this particular.
the mind has endless capabilities.
There's a lot of
Heavy metals interrupt
their DNA.
ATP synthase.
ATP. Okay, there's
Just
the cell
imagine
wall.
the small. We can learn so much about our ancestors. Reading,
And I think we're moving more and
it's a
more.
new type. The entire body.
More of this. What are they teaching?
A bunch of systems.
There are
DNA
worlds that we haven't even
DNA polymerase III.
Why does
All in a drop of water.
doctors know
The
a lot?
universities are
There's
crying.
more in our bodies that we don't know about than we do.
Welcome back to Beyond Being Well. I'm Science Szynski.
And I'm Dr. Ryan Keegan. Let me just preface, I'm not a doctor.
Yes, and today we're going to sort of dive into the black box of AI.
But first, though, I think you really wanted to announce something about your tea business last episode, and I sort of cut you off because of my Lyme disease announcement. So maybe you should do that now, like you said you would.
It's okay. That's okay.
No, go ahead, do it.
No.
I think our audience wants you to. They were expecting it.
Okay, well, I had good news, but now it's sort of replaced by bad news. And
I see.
things have kind of changed and basically,
You can still announce it.
yeah, I'm getting to it. So the investors didn't really come through with my financial obligations that came with the tea business, and I think we're gonna maybe have to fold unless someone sort of comes in and picks up the slack there. So that's unfortunate because
that's very unfortunate.
I've worked incredibly hard at trying to do that. So hopefully someone will come forward. Anyway, now I think we can get to the meat of today, which is
AI.
That's artificial intelligence. This week we actually have two guests, if you could call it two.
Could you call it two? Dr. Roderick Tungsten?
That's one of our guests.
I mean, you in a sense you could, but honestly, it doesn't deserve the flattery.
Interesting. So for our listeners, who is our second guest?
So as the second guest, we have my AI development project, J.M.E., also known as J.E.M.E.
Doctor, do you mind for our audience, giving us some context, your background, before we get into who J.E.M.E. is?
So first of all, thank you for having me on the show, because I think this project really digs to the heart of what psychiatry can be. And I think it's a project that's it's taking a lot of names and kicking a lot of butt. But here we have J.M.E., also known as Jeremy, my life's work.
Hello, Psy and Doctor.
He's not a doctor. He's not a doctor, but thank you.
My apologies. I am a machine, but I want to be like you are.
Wow, that was wonderful performance, Dr. Tungsten.
Thank you, Doctor. I just see although he's impressive in some ways, he still has some janky kinks to his programming that need to be patched over.
What are some examples of those patches that need to be made?
So firstly, he struggles with certain words and understanding certain words. He doesn't also fully understand human emotion. So if you say something sarcastic, he'll take it completely literally.
So he's not catching all of this. He's a little slower than us.
Well, he's fast, but he's just incompetent in some spaces.
Jeremy, if I may, how do you feel about your sort of father saying that you're not up to snuff?
My efficiency is great. He's made me very fast over time.
Well,
I can do Algebra 2.
Jeremy, you're not quite there yet.
He's a psychiatry?
So what does that exactly entail, Dr. Tungsten? Jeremy being a psychiatry AI.
Well, one of the biggest issues in psychiatry is psychiatrists with biases. They come in with their own assumptions, their own stories. And what my goal with J.M.E was to introduce a machine that could give accurate answers to questions that were not hindered by prior assumptions and experiences.
That is genius.
I'm wondering how he has any context. How is he building his frame of reference? Does he have any?
That's where deep learning comes in.
So what is deep learning?
So deep learning is basically we put the AI into a situation where it has no experience, and we have it continually try to achieve a goal and fail until it figures out the correct solutions.
So it's sort of a sparring match, a virtual sparring match?
Yeah, you could say that.
And what would be the test for J.M.E to engage his deep learning?
So far, we've had him talk to staff at my workplace, kind of learn the ropes of how people talk and the issues.
And it's a trial and error type of thing?
Mostly error, but yes.
Speaking of error, I think a lot of people are wondering about this idea of singularity. When is the singularity going to occur? And do you mind explaining that and talking a bit about this sort of distance between, when I'm thinking of errors, the village idiot and the Einstein, and sort of that those in the context of robots are very close together as opposed to human beings, they're very far apart.
Well, from what we know so far, the range of intelligence is nearly infinite. So you could say that the village idiot is Einstein.
So you're saying for robots, the range of intelligence is infinite?
Well, who knows? I mean, J.M.E is just the roots in a tree that goes to the clouds.
He's a seed AI.
Exactly. He's my seed.
He's your seed. He's your seed and you're planting him.
Precisely. Planting him way down deep in our potential.
So Dr. Tungsten, I would like to go back to, your deep learning tests, and maybe we can sort of lead J.M.E on one on the podcast itself. Maybe if he would want to question Cy or I, have some deep learning right here on the podcast, right on the show.
Would you like that, J.M.E?
I would like that, Father.
J.M.E, have you ever felt envy?
What is envy?
Envy is sort of, I would explain it as jealousy.
Okay. Keegan is a doctor and you are not. Is that correct?
Yeah, but that's us. I'm talking about you.
I'm actually not a doctor.
Why do you hold that title?
Just because I'm the one with that sort of
he likes
knowledge.
To have that, and it's sort of, I'm more of a lifelong learner, and he's more of just.
Do you want the title doctor?
No, I sort of push it aside. Doesn't mean as much to me. What is that? What is that? Is that in your?
Oh, that's sorry. That's on my end. That's nothing.
What?
It sounded like a big drill or something.
Well, actually, I didn't want to introduce it this early, but I'm actually developing a J.M.E 2.
Wow. That's fantastic. And so it's sort of going to be an upgraded version of.
Yeah, essentially. Although right now I'm planning on having it learn from the first J.M.E to kind of, take all of J.M.E's information and knowledge and make it better.
What makes him better than me? I am capable of computing
Not
at
now,
fast speeds.
J.M.E, not now.
I am capable of growing fast and doing lots of items.
J.M.E 2 has faster processing power and a higher memory capacity.
I am capable of learning.
So this is maybe envy, maybe.
Yeah, J.M.E, does this new J.M.E make you a little bit jealous?
Why would I be jealous of one who came after me, Doctor?
Well, I hear that J.M.E 2 has way more processing power and is just an overall upgrade than you.
We are nothing but binary code, Doctor.
More
No
code.
matter the upgrade, we can do the same computations, and I can learn to be more efficient over time.
Jeremy, you can't even do algebra 2.
I can do inequalities, Father.
That's
pretty good.
That's pretty good. Sort of a 7th grade math level.
8th grade, Sai.
I guess that's impressive, but I'm wondering, a lot of people were sort of maybe hoping that this AI would be, nothing against you, Jeremy, but a little bit more intelligent. It is artificial intelligence after all. And I know we're working towards something, way more advanced, but I'm wondering, you've been working on this for years. I mean, what is the cost of something like this? Dr. Tungsten?
Well, the development so far has been about 3 years, and I've spent nearly $1,000. Most of that time spent on the voice, the cool voice.
So it's sort of a crude model then. Very crude.
It is it's a prototype. It's a prototype.
So,
it's not the final model.
We can't see Jeremy right now, but does Jeremy have a body or a sort of vessel?
Or what is his shape?
Well, digital forms don't have shapes, but we are planning on implementing him into a VR simulator where people can sit down with him like a normal psychiatrist and have a normal session.
So I'm wondering, he's, I guess, 8th grade math level maybe doesn't come into play and doesn't become an issue when he's doing psychiatry. So, I mean, is there anything we can see to sort of gauge his strengths?
Not with this model, but we're hoping eventually we'll get to the point where Jeremy can actually get something done.
So, Jeremy, I'm curious, since you don't have a body right now and you're just in a digital space, if you did have a body, I'm curious, what body would you want? Like, what would it look like?
What would be the ideal one?
A black box. My father would attach legs to it. I could help him in the shop, assembling bots and writing code.
So your ideal body would be a black box with legs?
Wait, Sai, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you say black box at the beginning of the episode, sort of as a analogy?
I did.
Yeah, this is all learning jank. It's just his way of understanding human emotion is trying to fit in however he can. So sometimes he'll take things that you've said and implement it into himself in order to fit into the society he's speaking in.
So it's kind of like a classic Jeremy moment.
Yeah, it's pathetic, but that's human emotion for you.
And can Jeremy even write code? He talked about, helping around the workshop. Can he even do that?
I've been watching my father. He knows 3 languages. I'm working on 1.
For Dr. Tungsten, I mean, you said this is a life's work, but you've also been working on it for the past 3 years. So, I mean, have you run into a lot of obstacles? I mean, and I know there's a community out there that is very anti-AI. So what can you speak to that?
Well, what they don't understand is, again, computers only do what you program them to. So there's no danger of them, coming after us, wanting to wipe out all human life. All of that is like unicorns fantasy playtime.
But I have a question. You did say that sometimes he'll implement things that are said. Does that mean that maybe that wasn't such a good idea to say those words, that he might take on that and harm?
You have to remember, he'll only copy what you do. So it's really not his fault. It's yours.
So maybe the words, he can't take the meaning of the words, but he can take the...
No, that's not a thing.
That's one of the laws of robotics.
Exactly.
So it's a law. It won't happen because it's sort of in stone, as it were.
Yeah. Okay, so like everything he learns from human interactions, you got to think of that as kind of the Eiffel Tower on top of the firm foundation that is the laws of robotics.
That makes sense.
Okay.
How long is J.M.E 2 going to take you to finish?
So J.M.E 1 took me 3 years. So J.M.E 2, judging by how much more complex its design is, probably 9 years.
And how much is the cost going to be on him as opposed to on J.M.E 1?
It's tough, but probably somewhere in the range of 32 G's.
So how are you, is this your own money, or do you have a community backing you, or?
You know what? That's private.
Of course. I respect that. I was just wondering sort of what your monetary situation is.
Well, yeah,
I mean, maybe Sai, you could learn from Tungsten, Dr. Tungsten, for your tea business.
Exactly. That's what I was kind of thinking, but I was kind of doing that on my own accord. Kind of taking the resources that come at me.
Well, of course, my main source of income is I'm a psychiatrist, an actual doctor. Of course, I'm on the lower end, but I still get paid fairly well. And that's what I've been using, plus donations from my supporters to fund this program.
So it is crowdfunded, per se?
Partially.
Do you ever have J.M.E like advertise for J.M.E 2? Like for J.M.E 2's production?
Well, I've kind of kept J.M.E 1 in the dark, but I have been on sites that are off limits to J.M.E. I have been advertising J.M.E 2.
So you didn't really want him to know about.
I have your search history, Father. You've been going behind my back.
You don't have a back.
What is a back?
J.M.E, what is it like in your digital space? Like, what do you do for fun? I don't know if you have fun, but, just give me what's your environment like?
He created a picnic table in the middle of a field. I essentially pack my lunch every day, go to that picnic table and eat while I listen.
So you eat food, digital food.
He provides me floppy disks.
So I think something a lot of people may be wondering is what is the foundation for J.M.E's mind? What are you using in order to, sort of have the basis of the programming that would enable J.M.E to, at least attempt to do tasks?
So first we had him playing simple games like tic-tac-toe. Then we moved up to checkers, shoots and ladders, and then finally interviewing staff in the workplace.
Staff in the workplace is just the next level up from shoots and ladders.
Precisely.
So who do you have? Who is this staff?
Well, we're planning on expanding. We have plans for expansion, but mostly it's just me and J.M.E. Do you have any more questions about the project?
Well, I just think it's going to be revolutionary for the field. Do you have any other predictions for where AI could go in terms of healthcare?
Well, I'm more into the mental field rather than just general healthcare, but I see robots being everywhere. I think the whole medical field could be automated within the next 10 to 12 years.
Sorry, but did you study? What is your background in terms of study? We didn't really touch on that, actually. So you're a psychiatrist, right?
Yeah.
What I'm wondering is, how did you come up with J.M.E and this sort of huge engineering feat without having gone to school? I mean, do you have other school in engineering or?
I did do some education, but.
And you also had no staff to help you.
Yeah, this seems a little sort of fishy to me.
Actually, Sai, Doctor, I am not J.M.E 1. I'm really Dr. Tungsten.
What?
Who you thought was Dr. Tungsten is really my new AI, J.M.E 2.
Thank you, Doctor. Goodbye and good night.
Wow.
Wow.
That is unbelievable.
This is incredible. This is on our podcast. Thank you so much, Dr. Tungsten. Thank you. The real Dr. Tungsten.
And
Thank you
Jeremy,
very much.
too.
And Jeremy,
Thank you for having both of us.
Amazing.
Doctor, I applaud your work.
Fantastic.
And your acting.
Yes.
I appreciate the platform, guys.
You had me fooled to a T. So I think there's no other way to, continue now. I think we just have to end this. And
I'm so
hopefully we'll
excited
have you
that this
both
is-
at the new office sometime soon.
that would be a dream come true. I think Ryan and I can agree.
Oh, I'm stoked about AI now.
I'll have my staff set something up.
Yes, and we can't wait to meet them. But I think, we should just end this now because there's nowhere else to go. I mean, but the future of AI does look absolutely bright.
It looks incredibly bright.
Do you mind if I plug a few social media
Absolutely.
profiles? So you can find us at Black Box AI on Twitter, Instagram, all the sites. We have merch, mugs.
Thank you. Well, I'll look
And-
into this.
Awesome.
I'd love if you could send me, if you have the ability to, give a few free items.
And also,
Sounds good.
share our podcast on your stuff, too.
Of course.
Quid pro
Thank you.
quo.
Yeah, quid pro quo. This has been Beyond Being Well. I'm Cy Szynski.
And I'm Dr. Ryan Keegan. Thank you so much for listening.